TTKMUAN knockouts, and welcome back to Thoughts That Keep Me Up at Night with Kin. In case you forgot, I'm Kin. We're trying something a little bit different this week. I received a few direct messages telling me that my background was a bit too busy and it was hard to focus, so clearly I simplified things for you. I hope that helps. If you are new here, hello, it's so good to see you. Welcome, welcome. If you are a returning viewer, however, you've probably been following along and might have noticed that I missed an episode last week. I'm really sorry. The reality is I am at the whim of my body, and when I go into flare-ups, I don't always have the energy to work. So it doesn't get done. And I am someone who has a very strong work ethic and can be very hyper-focused sometimes when it comes to that. So believe me, when I cannot get things done because of a physical limitation, it frustrates the living heck out of me. But it is what it is. So thank you for bearing with me and tuning in anyway. Now, since I didn't post last week, let's call the episode from 2 weeks ago the close of October. And if you need a little reminder, we discussed some of the unsolved mysteries of Polynesia, specifically in Hawaii and New Zealand. This week, we are going to continue the fall spirit by grabbing our pruning shears and harvesting some life lessons. To do so, we are going to process this by the 4 following points. Starting with reflecting on growth from unexpected challenges. Then we'll move into letting go of what doesn't serve us, naming and honoring our progress, and carrying those lessons with intention. Before we clip those metaphorical crops, however, I want to make our process as sustainable as possible by throwing out a quick mention to our sponsor, B0 Plastic. I've put the link to their website in the description below, but we will definitely comb through their inventory a little bit later. You know, the funny thing about growth is that it rarely happens when things are going great. It usually shows up when you're standing in the middle of a mess, wondering who in the world left you in charge of your own life. So that's where we're going to start. Challenges are a little bit like compost. They freaking stink, but man, do they feed the soil of who we become. When you're knee deep in one, it definitely doesn't feel like growth. It feels like survival. You're just trying to get through the day without losing your mind or your motivation. But later on, you look back and you realize those same rough seasons are what gave your roots strength. Relying on your resilience is not about trying to be strong. It's about showing up regardless of that. Even when you're shaky, even when it hurts. Because discomfort, weirdly enough, is nature's way of saying you're evolving. Think of every challenge as a type of initiation. Not punishment, not karma, but a doorway. Sometimes the only way to meet the truest version of yourself is to struggle your way into it. Of course, for something new to grow, something else has to go because you only have so much space. And that is where things start to feel uncomfortable. The thing that cracks me up is we tend to talk about letting go as if it were some sort of peaceful yoga move. But honestly, it's more like trying to pry your fingers off of something you swear you still need. The thing is, letting go doesn't mean quitting. It means consciously stepping away from habits, mindsets, or relationships that drain your energy faster than an app on your phone at 3% battery. It's going to hurt because endings always do, even the ones that we choose consciously. But when we cling to things out of comfort or fear, we end up carrying a bunch of emotional clutter and have no room for what's next. So here's a little trick. Create a form of ritual. Write down what you're releasing. A name, a thought, a belief, and then destroy it. Burn it. Shred it. Throw it in the ocean. Responsibly, of course. It's less about the act and more about you giving yourself permission to move on. Now, while we are on the topic of release, if you are looking to let go of actual waste in your life, let's talk about B0 Plastic. B0 Plastic has truly changed what it means to have convenience and sustainability. All of the products that they sell are 100% environmentally friendly, vetted for credibility and quality by the CEO and founder herself, made right here in the USA, and most importantly, affordable and accessible. Some of the items that they include are things like toothpaste and dental floss, laundry detergent and lint balls, just soap and dishcloths, and even waste and trash bags. When this episode wraps, please feel free to cruise on down to the description below or scan the QR code on screen. Use code KIN, K-I-N, and you will receive 10% off your very first order. Supporting them supports the planet and obviously this podcast. So thank you so much for being a part of that eco-conscious cycle. Now, back to the harvest. Once we've pulled out the weeds, we can finally see what's growing underneath. Because we are all guilty of downplaying our progress. We are constantly chasing milestones and more often than not, missing the quiet victories, the boundaries we held, the moments we stayed calm, the nights we chose peace over chaos. Those are the real markers of growth. They are not flashy, but they are sustainable and strong. So try this one. Once a week, write down one thing that you did that you're proud of. I dare you. It doesn't have to be life-changing. Maybe you just spoke your mind. Maybe you didn't spiral. Maybe you got out of bed. Celebrate it anyway. Self-awareness, courage, and boundaries. These are all signs of emotional evolution. When we don't honor that, we trick ourselves into believing that we're stagnant, when in reality, we're blooming. Once you've honored what's grown and cleared out what hasn't, there's one more step. Carrying those lessons forward with purpose. The thing about life is that it will hand you the same lesson on a platter over and over again until you learn it. Kind of like the universe's version of an all-you-can-eat buffet, but you don't get to choose your meal. It's just that one thing every time. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other options. You're just not giving yourself access to them. However, once you do understand what you're trying to learn, it's time to integrate it. Don't just survive experiences. Build from them. Anchor new insights into your daily decisions. If something taught you patience, practice it. If something taught you self-worth, protect it. If something taught you peace, don't go looking for chaos to replace it. Intentional living is not about perfection, y'all. It's about choosing your next step with the wisdom of every scar you got along the way. While you take a break to sharpen your metaphorical shears, let's do a quick recap of what we just talked about. We discussed how we reflect on growth from unexpected challenges, letting go of what doesn't serve us, naming and honoring our progress, and carrying our lessons with intention. If there is anything that you take from this, it's that you are both the gardener and the garden. Growth is not something that just happens to you. It's something you nurture season after season. As always, a huge thank you to B0 Plastic for sponsoring this channel and keeping us all a little greener. Next week, we are going to do what I call a values check-in, which essentially is reestablishing what we stand for and why it matters. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Click that little bell and catch a new episode every Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time here on YouTube and soon to be on Spotify. Also, if you've got a topic that you would like me to explore, or even a guest that you would like me to talk to, my business email is in the channel bio. Just go ahead, shoot off a quick email, let me know what you're thinking, and my team will get back to you. Business inquiries only, please. Anywho, thank you for spending another restless night with me, Knockouts. I cannot wait to see you next time. Until then, you know the drill. Say hey to the dark side.